we've seen several South African charity organizations contributing significantly to war-torn countries known as Palestine, Gaza, Lebanon, and so on and so forth. Now, this critique say may have been neglected the poor communities of South Africa. Now, would you say that South African charity organizations have contributed enough locally rather than overseas?
You know, charity begins at home. So, as much as we have to be in solidarity with the foreign disasters and crises, but we have a time bomb within our backyard. We have according to statistics, 2015, we have 34.5 million South Africans living in poverty. And I think, you know, maybe the question would be, what is enough? There can be never enough to address the poverty that we live in. But also, as humanitarian organizations, we have a moral obligation to assist wherever possible, but not neglecting our backyards. I think there's a lot that needs to be done in South Africa to make South Africa better and more secure for us, for all of us, than pushing a lot of humanitarian aid to foreign countries. There's a lot of people. I mean, what justification would we have to set up a bakery in overseas, and yet there's so many squatter camps who cannot access bread?
Absolutely.
I mean, I think it would have been very wise to set up a bakery in Overport and distribute bread in Foreman Road, in Kennedy Road, in Quarry Road, where these squatter camps are. So, yes, what could be enough? And what is it that we have to do? There's a lot of work in our backyard that we need to do before we go somewhere else. Charity begins at home. And I think it's important that we begin our charity at home. We want to have a secure country. We want to live in harmony with the poor. We need to show that we care. We are concerned about their pride. And trust me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He will never change our condition until we change our condition ourselves. We complain about, we are always complaining about the high levels of crime. But I'm not justifying crime. But what I'm saying is, when the poor see that you don't care as an established community, if the poor sees you taking millions outside, caring for other people outside and not for them, what do you expect them to do? They will attack you. If we have to create a more equitable society, we need to stop building long walls. We need to start building bridges, reaching out to the communities in whatever aspect we can, in whatever little we can. There are communities in South Africa which have to walk for 20 to 30 kilometers to get to a nearest clinic. And yet we are establishing clinics overseas. We have not established one clinic in South Africa. We have kids who cannot access preschools, creche. We have institutions creating preschools overseas, and yet they have not created a single creche in South Africa. I mean, come on, it doesn't make sense.
Okay. So, what extent would you say that alleviating poverty will reduce crime?
Crime and poverty goes hand in hand. I'll give you 3 practical examples. One, our office, the World Assembly of Muslim Youth, is in Krere State, which is surrounded by a number of squatter camps. We established a program which was computer skills training for unemployed youth. Over a period of 3 years, we trained close to 300 young people. And during one of the graduation, the commissioner of police in the area said, and I quote his words, social crime has dropped by 50% since this program started. End of quote. So directly, when you empower people, when you create, when you preoccupy the mind that is unoccupied, you are going to take him away from the idle exposure for him to get involved in crime. So, and if somebody is living in poverty and he has no hope, what do you expect him to do? He has so many hours to worry about what he's going to do. He's going to steal. Yes, crime and poverty are interlinked. When we address the issue of poverty, we're going to be addressing indirectly and directly the issue of crime. when you empower the youth or the people with the skills that they can access employment, when you create programs that show that you care, when you have mechanisms in place that say we want to address the poverty crisis in our area, crime will drop.
Now, can you share with us some major poverty alleviation initiatives that WAMI has been running throughout the years?
Firstly, as I said, World Assembly of Muslim Youth is a youth organization. Our work is youth work, youth work, youth work, youth empowerment. I'll give you a number of programs that we run as WAMI to mitigate or to make poverty a history. One, we believe that poverty has to be addressed in two different ways. Firstly, short-term, and secondly, long-term. Short-term, your normal distribution of hampers to the very needy communities. Long-term, education and training. So the World Assembly of Muslim Youth has hostels for boys and girls. We have hostels for university boys based in Krele State, where our kids are sponsored with bursaries for them to access school, and we sponsor them with food, medical care, and ensure that they have a secure environment for them to succeed. Our idea is zero rate dropout. So our youth in the hostels have no excuse. They go to school, they have food to eat, they have a shelter, and they have access to medical care. They have to succeed. The second thing is a girls' hostel in Amzinto, which is a feeder. Girls' hostel in Amzinto for primary school, high school, and then at high school level, when they finish matric, they join the hostel for girls at 189 Grey Road, where they go to various universities, your University of Durban, University of Technology, University of KZN, both Howard and Westville, and MUT, Mangosuthu, University of Technology. So in terms of short term, the hamper distribution, in terms of long term, education. But also, we developed a program called the microfinance program for women, where we identified 5 emerging businesses at first who were struggling with finance for them to grow their businesses. We gave them the finance. We gave them a mentorship program over 6 weeks to ensure that it's not just about giving them money, but giving them the skill to grow that money. And then giving them a flexible repayment program where they paid back the money to us over a period of time for us to empower other people. Now, with this program, there were 2 incentives. Every business, any business that we funded, if it created an employment for a young person, we gave them a relief of 25% on their repayment to us, so that we encourage them to create employment. If the business employed a woman, we gave them 25% for them to be motivated to create employment for others. Then if they employed a disabled person, if it's a young person, a disabled, we gave them a 50% relief, because we realize that the disabled community is the most forgotten community. And if a business can create employment for a disabled young person, it means they care about the disabled. We're not leaving them behind, we're making them to be part of the society. So the microfinance, from the initial 5, we had 10. But most of the businesses, being the nature of small business, with the COVID-19, most of them have struggled back because they were not trading, but they still had overheads to pay. They were not trading, but they still had to live. So most of them have struggled, but we hope with the opening of the economy that we'll start re-engaging them and trying to ensure that our issue of creating employment continues. So these are some of the initiatives. But again, another initiative that I think is worth noting is our partnership between the World Assembly of Muslim Youth, ICRA Trust, and the Goodwill Institute of Technology, where we are saying, 4th Industrial Revolution is a challenge. How do we upskill our young people to become relevant? Because digital world now is opening up. Everything is going digital. So if our kids, young people, are empowered with those skills, we are sure that they're going to play a critical role in developing the economy that we want to see. Secondly, our partnership with Pagamisa in terms of skills development is the way to go. The president has just issued a statement on infrastructure development as the way to go. So we need a lot of artisans to be absorbed within the structure and the strategy of the government. And this can only be done if we start being proactive in terms of training the young people in the much needed skills. So those are the initiatives that we are doing, but it's worth noting that poverty is big business. For us to end poverty, we need to start playing the economical games, creating opportunities of employment, giving better access to healthcare, and ensuring that no young person is left behind in terms of education and training.
Now, I hear that you speak very passionately about women empowerment. Why is there focus on the girl-child education where in most instances in households, the boy child is the head of the house?
A myth that needs to be dismissed literally immediately. What Assembly of Muslim Youth believes and strongly believes that girl child or women are very important to the development of our community.
Absolutely.
If you look at the statistics in terms of numbers, we have more women than men. So if women are empowered, if girl child is empowered, we have a better chance of succeeding in terms of creating healthy families, in terms of creating health communities. But also, if you know very well, we live in a country where gender-based violence is too high. And for us to mitigate gender-based violence, we need to ensure that women are empowered with the skills and the qualification they need to survive if they have to walk away from an abusive relationship. If we have to create a sober society, we need to ensure that we're investing in girl child. You are right. The World Assembly of Muslim Youth has took a deliberate decision in their conference in 2010 to say girl child is the way to go. So 75% of our programs and focus is on girl child and women, because we believe strongly that these are the future. Women, girl child are the future of a health society.
Future is